That's a perfect way to start a morning, even better than coffee, I say. Hello there, you're tuned to the only show on English radio that brings the voices of our youth straight to you from their schools. I'm Joel Chua, standing in for Angela Lim this morning. Today Campus is coming to you live from Bukit Panjang Government High, and we will be discussing the impact of the population white paper and what impact that will have on the future of our youths.
First off, am I right in saying that the issue over the population white paper spread primarily over social media like Facebook? Did it spread the fastest?
What do you mean the issues, as in the contentions? Not really. No, the government released the white paper as it traditionally would have.
The issue, as in
the debate. The debate, did it take place on the social media? I think a lot of it did.
So on certain Facebook pages such as The Real Singapore, Escape, I've noticed some very interesting memes that constantly highlight the negative aspects of population white paper.
Welcome to the social media.
So could it be that Singaporeans are actually getting a one-sided view of the white paper?
I think there is a sense, I mean, it depends on what your source of information is. If you just live in the online world, suffice to say that there's the standard of editorial objectiveness online and editorial oversight online is a lot lower than what you find on the mainstream media. But then, of course, the other argument is, the mainstream media is so heavily influenced by the government, you only read the positive things. But then on the online media, you only read the negative things because the online media also are run by people who have their own political agendas.
So strike a balance, read the print media and also read the online media, use your discretion.
And also listen to radio.
I'm curious to know if that a balance can be struck between the intake of foreigners and the well-being of Singaporeans, because we know that foreigners are needed in Singapore for a larger talent pool and the diversity of Singapore. But then it cannot be too great such that we Singaporeans need to compete with them for jobs and housing, and this will discourage us from starting a family in the future, which will also lower the population.
So it goes back to the age-old question: how do you strike a balance between quality of life and competitiveness? Because if you say that you think it's not desirable that Singaporeans have to compete too much with foreigners, then what is that going to be doing to our economy? Because we don't operate in an isolated. We are geographically an island, but economically we are not an island, right? So what will that do to the level of our competitiveness here in Singapore? If the attitude is Singaporeans first, because there will always be people outside of Singapore who are better than us, right? Does anybody want to take that question?
But the fundamental principle is that you must be good enough to compete. No matter who you are.
It should be complete, not compete. What do you mean by that?
Many foreigners should come to Singapore thinking that they're completing Singapore, not competing Singapore.
Why didn't you say that when we were on air? That's such a brilliant quote. Why didn't you say that when we were on air? That's a great insight.